Oh, yes. It's Just Blane here with Radio Daybreak. Special, very special episode this week. We're doing a pod swap with, the Women Optimizing Wellness. They got a great interview with Alison Faulkner. If you're not sure who she is, she's the host of the Alison Show podcast. I think she's got millions of listeners. So you got to go check out that thing. Before we get to that, though, we're going to go to the farmer's market from last weekend where I caught up with Miss Daybreak. It's Amanda McCombs, and she's got a charity gala coming up for her birthday and to help raise funds for a beautiful cause. We'll get to that and ask her, but wait till you see what I'm going to donate. Wait till you see what I am going to put in to the silent auction. It could be worth $13, $14, probably $2,000 by the time we get out there. But I got to address one more thing before we get to that interview, and that's the Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to know my opinion on it. That should speak for itself. That should speak for itself. That's me and Kendrick some years ago, and I put us in front of a TV off. So there's my response to what I thought about the Super Bowl show. Love you. Let's go to Miss Daybreak, Amanda McCombs, and we'll see you on the other side. There's her title. New shirt, too.
I got a shirt.
Look at that.
It's all official.
All official. It's all official. I love that.
Officially
It's been
official.
official for like 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because nobody's taking this title.
Not yet. The only way you take it from me is if I win Mrs. Utah.
Ooh, that's right, because we're not boxing you in with Miss
No,
Daybreak anymore.
no. There's a chance that this could be something much bigger.
What about Miss Congeniality?
Oh, that's something people vote on at the pageant, actually.
I think you could win that. I've known you for a while. You're pretty.
Everyone's so nice, though.
You're pretty congenial.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Congenial?
Congenial?
Yeah,
All right.
you got it. You did it.
Well, see, I started thinking, I was
enough.
like, wait a minute, that sounds too much like conjugal visit.
Oh, yeah,
so I was,
that's
I was
not the
trying to
same
make sure in
thing.
my head.
That is not the same thing.
My AI is a
I
little
don't
slow today. My implant's a little slow today, so it didn't.
Need to, like-
Yeah, got to reboot. Got to reboot.
Reboot.
But I couldn't check that word in my head real quick. But I just wanted to
Your
make sure.
dictionary
So
was a little.
it was off. It was
off a tiny bit. Yeah.
But
no.
let me ask you though, because you got big events before the pageant.
Yes.
Tell me about the one.
My birthday.
Ooh.
My birthday's February 20th, and it's a Thursday.
All right.
But we're gonna party like it's 1925. It's Great Gatsby.
100 years
themed.
ago?
Yeah. Why not?
Oh, I like that. Great Gatsby. Now, what should I wear? This isn't gonna work. Maybe the hat.
No, you might. Well, you can maybe get away with the hat, but I would lose the sweatpants.
Hey, don't tell people I got sweatpants on.
You don't have sweat. There are no sweatpants.
So this is the Miss Daybreak Gala? What is this? What is this
So
called?
it's a charity gala. This is Daybreak's birthday charity gala. So it is my birthday, but I don't need anything. I'm working with a nonprofit to collect donations.
Oh, who is it? Who's the
It's
name?
Hearts Knit Together.
Heartsknittogether.org. Is that the
Yep,
website for
that's
them?
the best website for them.
I've seen that website. We talked about that website and what you did with them and have been doing with them, and
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's
they
still-
really put themselves out there to help people
Well,
in
now
need.
we're here at the. This is Saturday. We'll just
Yeah.
date this, but we're at the farmers market.
Yep.
It's indoors. The farmers market here at Land of a Thousand Hills. Hey, there's Tammy.
Hey guys.
And you got Laura Gaylord came out here and
Yeah.
put on another great farmers market. What are you doing here though?
She set up a spot for me to do a little meet and greet so people can figure out who the heck I am because they're seeing me and they don't know who I am.
So that's
I'm
the line.
available.
So
here.
I'm actually holding you up from
Well,
getting
it's
to the
okay.
people, from talking to the people at Daybreak.
It's okay. They'll know who I am soon enough.
Because I'm the who's who.
Yeah, you are.
You're
And
right.
I'm the what's what.
And you're the what's what. Hey, but I want to shout out too because we're in a Land of a Thousand Hills.
Yeah.
They got new owners. They got new owners.
It's so nice and mellow in here. I've only been in here a couple times.
Man, you guys got to get down here and meet them. It's Brad and Amanda, I believe. They just got here. They're living in Daybreak. They just bought Land of a Thousand Hills. They're over there making deals right now. They're making deals. But Miss Daybreak, when is the pageant? When is the big day?
March 29th.
Now, where do you get tickets for that?
So they're not available yet, but I have 15 I'm giving away. I'm doing a raffle.
15.
15, yeah. They're on me. I'll buy your ticket.
Okay.
But you have to it's $5 donations. For every $5 you donate, you get an entry into the ticket, and it helps cover my pageant fees.
I love that. Now, where are the tickets? Where can we get them though? We'll have links for that out there.
Venmo me at Not So Genius.
At Not So Genius. One word?
That's my Venmo. Yeah.
Probably put that on the screen somewhere, like right here. Or,
Yeah, like right.
It'll be on there somewhere, wherever it pops up at. But I have to say that I might have to show up this year. They did ask me to come down there and be a judge.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. They didn't ask me to do that. Nobody's asked me to.
A little biased.
Believe me, nobody's asked me to do that. That's for sure.
Just come. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be a Stanley. Maybe I won't.
Let me let you get to your adoring people
My
of
fans.
Daybreak. Yeah, your fans. They are waiting. They're waving. Anything else you got to tell the people? You know what? I got to tell the people something. I will donate. Is this how it works? How does this work for this gala? Are we donating stuff?
Yeah.
And then people have a silent auction?
Oh yeah, we have a silent auction. We have some cool art pieces coming.
Okay.
Barbecue, cleaning services. I have a whole basket full of my favorite stuff that I'm gonna give away.
All right, I got something I'm gonna add to that. It's gonna be the biggest thing you'll have.
Okay.
At least for prize.
I'm kind of scared.
No. This will be a good one. I will give this thing. And listen. Now we're filming this on Saturday. By the 20th, this could be $1,400 worth. But I'm gonna give a dozen eggs.
Oh my goodness, a dozen eggs.
I'm gonna put a dozen eggs out there for you.
That's like gold.
I am. I'm gonna give a dozen eggs, and that's what I'm gonna. Is that a good donation I can make?
Good donation.
I'm also going to be DJing some of that, right? I'm gonna be
we're
playing
gonna have a dance party.
I'll play some music. You gonna give me the playlist for that?
We'll work on it together.
What is it gonna be, like a Fem Rage, like just?
Oh, I'm so
That's
angry.
what I got a great Fem Rage playlist.
Let's do it.
Ooh,
I kind of like it.
We'll see you there.
I kind of like where this is headed. Let's go.
February 20th. That's the
Yeah.
first time that we need to see anything about you. Don't worry about when the date is for the pageant, because February 20th is the date right now.
Yep.
Where is that event?
That is going to be at the Garden Park Clubhouse right here in Daybreak.
Well, why not? Why wouldn't we have it right here in Daybreak, right?
Right.
I love it. We'll see you there.
Yeah. Please.
A dozen eggs. I'm putting them out there. I'm putting a dozen eggs out there. I don't know how much that's going to go for, guys. That's going to be rowdy. It's going to be wild. But right now, let's get to Alison Faulkner and the Women of WOW. Bex Nielsen, Jen Banks, Michelle Lena. Incredible interview. We'll catch you on the other side.
Welcome back. We are here as WOW founders to interview upcoming keynotes and speakers and sponsors that we have within the WOW community. Today we have Alison Faulkner. So excited. Love it. She's excited too. I've been a fangirl for a while, so this is like a treat for sure. So Alison is a writer, speaker, and creative entrepreneur known for her vibrant energy and authenticity. As the founder of the Alison Show, she empowers individuals to embrace their unique value and find joy in everyday life. Alison combines her expertise in branding and personal development with a passion for creating meaningful experiences and connections, inspiring others through workshops, online courses, and events. As a mother of three, she champions the importance of balancing ambition and self-care, helping others to show up as their full selves.
Did you write that?
You know, I might have had ChatGPT help a little.
Will you send me that? I'm like, wait, that's so good. Do I do that? I just learned all kinds of new things. I sound so good. You are. Welcome, and thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm so happy to do it. We're so excited to have you here. So I know Jen has got a handful of questions, but full disclosure, have not read this book yet. So
I barely read it. I barely remember writing it at this point.
When did you write this, Allison?
I wrote it in all of 2020.
Okay.
It came out in Invented Edits. It came out in 2022.
Yes.
And it's 2025.
Okay.
And my name is Allison. And I think that's what I wrote.
So we are talking about You're Already Awesome by Alison Faulkner. It is amazing. According to Jen, I just took the cliff notes.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah. So Jen, dive in. I know you had a question about her book and...
Yeah, so you talk a lot about not using external validation to prove our worth.
Oh my gosh, I should so listen to myself. That would be so good.
Please teach me.
Right? I think the reason it resonates is because we all need those reminders constantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's speak to that.
Oh, I think, you know, the word, I called my brother today, and I can't remember the technical name of it, but you know the thing where you say a word over and over and it starts to lose its meaning and make sense? And I kept saying the word metrics. Metrics. And so that's like kind of the language I would use today, if it keeps its meaning. Metrics is, the metrics, there's so many vanity metrics, right? And what vanity metrics, I would define those are as the number on the scale, the number on the bank account, the number of friends or followers or clients, right? Like they're metrics and validation that other people can see and that we feel comfortable with other people seeing because it sets us in a status. Even with weight. When you're in shape, because, you know, when weight fluctuates, like when you're in shape, you feel and behave a certain way. And I know for me, I've noticed when I gain weight, a weird thought that I start to have is I'm not going to look as trustworthy. I'm not going to look as put together. Wow. People aren't going to want to respect me as much because I'm not outwardly showing this picture, right? And so that outward validation, it really goes person by person and their life experience, their DNA, and what they value. And I think we can start to say, oh, you shouldn't value this and you should value that. When really at the end of the day, you value what you value, right? Like, how much of your self-worth, how much do you allow yourself to do or not do things based on that? So this outside validation, for me, what outside validation looks like for me is people telling me I'm doing a good job, people telling me they really like me, people walking up to me and saying, wow, you're Allison, you helped me with this. Outward validation is going to look like my husband telling me I'm hot, my kids being proud of me and wanting to like show me places. It's going to be my family being proud of me, and it's also going to be looking really good in a picture.
Yeah.
I mean, and so those, and none of those are inherently wrong, bad, evil, or incorrect. But man, you can have all the outward validation in the world, and it just becomes a very slippery slope, a sliding target. And so it's so fun having a book called You're Already Awesome because people have to be nice about the title because it's printed. And so people are like, yay, I love it. And then I'll talk for a while and they're like, yeah, but like, if I believe I'm already awesome, I'm lazy. I'm settling.
I've arrived.
Yeah, or that.
Like I'm here.
Like I'm here.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because what it suggests is if I decide internally, if I validate myself internally, then I am presupposing that I will do nothing to improve. So isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Because that's when you tell me, well, but that's inherently problematic to believe I'm good and I'm okay, because how will I improve?
Right.
But what you're saying to me is the only way you know how to prove is by shaming yourself. Good job. And guess what? It doesn't, it's not super sexy to tell people you're already awesome. Like the book has done well and it's helped a lot of people, but it's not like off the charts bestseller.
Yeah.
And I think people have a hard time stomaching that message. They just do. And maybe, I don't know, timing, whatever. Everything is going to do what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
But I could very easily, and depending on the day and hour, come at that and say, this message of you're already awesome isn't good because it wasn't a #1 Times New York bestseller. Like it wasn't #1 on the list. So if, right, there's the trick with the outside validation. And I have a girlfriend who does fitness programs. She's phenomenal. And I signed up for one of her programs, and she wrote me back today and said, thank you so much for signing up. I had a ton of people sign up for the first one, and I haven't had as many people sign up for this one. And you guys probably doing events, it's so hard. And with your podcast, everything you do, it is so hard to believe in the inherent value of what you've created without the outward validation.
Yes.
And even if you get the outward validation, how much of it? How long do you need it? Does it have to continue to scale as you scale?
Does it last? Like
Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Maintaining last month's numbers to your point.
Maintaining the numbers. And I think for me and a lot of people, the easy jump is, okay, if not as many people signed up for my program this month, how can I make the program better?
Yes. Yeah. That might be something that you would think.
Which is great. We should always be looking to improve and iterate and get feedback. However, because I've been doing this so long, it is a very hard lesson to go, no, my program is actually phenomenal.
Right.
It's like a
There's some other
Is it a marketing thing?
that could.
Is it a timing thing?
Yeah.
Is it a price thing?
Yeah.
Is it a packaging thing?
Yes.
Is it a nobody wants this?
Yeah.
It might be the best book program.
Was your event on July 4th, right? Like when there's some outside
Right? Is there norovirus going around? Or do people keep getting sick?
Right.
And so you can see, like on big scale, little scale,
Sure.
how easy and applause-worthy it is to base your value and your success on all these metrics, but really when it comes down to it, it's super problematic and it's not sustainable.
Yes.
So when I'm talking about metrics, one like metric I'm obsessed with right now is like my new identity for 2025 is I'm getting 10,000 steps a day. And here's the reason why I'm obsessed with the metric is because if I get 10,000 steps a day, I inherently get the value of 10,000 steps, which is good for my body, it's good for my mind.
Positivity.
It's just
around
great.
that. Yeah.
If I get 5,000 steps, I still get 5,000 steps. Right?
Yep.
Now, if it's about having 10,000 steps a day to get to a weight, or having 10,000 steps a day to get to a certain number somewhere else, that's okay too. But the reason why I love the metric in and of itself being the win is because then it's like little dopamine hits. I got my 10,000 steps. Now, this has a lot to do with masculine and feminine energy, and so we can get into that too. I'm running on a tangent.
I absolutely love what you're saying. I want to maybe just dive in a little bit while we're on this topic and say, with goal setting, right?
Yeah.
You are going to be our WOW speaker in February. So just coming up here in a couple of weeks, but we're still at the beginning of the year where a lot of people set New Year's resolutions and you're speaking, to a lot of people about these metrics and hitting the thing. So I would say maybe look at your goals. Maybe look at those goals and
how you're measuring
it.
What are the metrics you're focusing on?
Yes.
And this is even something I'm challenging myself with, like a new project that I'm going to be working on. I'm like, well, and this is another way of saying it is, what's the definition of success?
There it is. Yes.
Right? Is the definition of success that you showed up?
Yes.
Oh man, wouldn't that be cute if we actually believed ourselves when we said that? Like, it would be so cute. We would be so well adjusted. We look so like tomboy and balanced. And like, for me, the success is just about me showing up for myself. I wish I show up for myself better than anybody. And if other people don't show up, I'm like, why does everybody hate me? There's no meaning and point in life, and I probably should just watch another series on Netflix. Right? So I was like, I oscillate wildly between these.
What was your inspiration behind this? I mean, there has to be like a story and a wow of writing this. So I know you touched a little bit.
Honestly, that's the lifelong goal.
Yeah.
It was the story and the inspiration is that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted a book, and I didn't just want to self-publish. I wanted a book with a top publisher. That's what I wanted. And I wanted it in college. I wanted it when I started blogging. I wanted it when I was on Instagram. I wanted it when I started the podcast. And I was just so confused that nobody was offering it to me. Because, like, here I am being offered all these things. I showed up, and I'm getting offered all these opportunities and all of these things. And I'm like, but where's the book?
Right.
And so it was perfect timing right before the world ended and everything changed online and life as we knew it upended. I got that book deal. Facetious. I'm being very sarcastic. And it was a weird time to write a book. It was a weird time to be online. And then there were the years afterwards, which were also very weird, if you will recall. And maybe you guys notice this too because you do this work. You talk to people about the last few years and they literally are like, they don't even say COVID happened. It's like, well, this thing happened and then this thing happened. It's like we've all collectively blocked out COVID.
There is truly maybe a little PTSD there. It was a hard time for a lot of people. So I'm a retired ER nurse, like living in that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all a blur.
It is.
Sometimes, I mean, there's some truth to that. There's some trauma brain there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was a crazy time.
And so my book came out in 2022, and we were still barely, as a world, having big communal events.
Right.
And so for me, the whole market, like the whole trajectory of everything I was going to do with this book changed. And the world changed. But it's really easy to just think, oh, this didn't work this way. Without keeping in mind there were all these other circumstances, kind of like with having a successful event or having a successful anything, there can be a lot of variables. And so the motivation for the book truly is I love books. I love reading. I think books are like medicine. Books change lives, my life. And I love books. I love writing. I've always been a writer. I love communicating. I like talking to people.
I'm just gonna put it out there. Maybe like because of that, there might be another book. I don't know.
I know. You never know.
Let's just put that out in the universe. All the Allison fans. I love it.
Let's circle back to belief, because you mentioned it briefly when you were talking about belief in yourself, belief in your product, or whatever you've created or have going on. And that will be the theme for February is I believe. So how can we cultivate this belief, or is there a time that you really felt the belief in yourself to do something?
That's such a good question, because I'm going to be super honest. I literally 5 minutes before I walked in here had a conversation with my husband where he said, I should probably just not do anything. Like, I know. What does that mean? Like what? Yeah, I should just not do anything. The problem is, what does that mean is like,
Allison.
Bex, I try not to do things.
Yes.
I try. This is my version of not doing things. I just have too much energy. I think is what it comes down to.
I was just thinking that. This little bottled up bubble. Like, it's just stay here and do nothing, Allison. Let's see how long that lasts.
Legit. And my version of doing nothing, my sister mocks me endlessly. She's like, I turn into a pro bono event planner.
Yeah.
So it's like I literally just start planning people's weddings and funerals. Legit, I get like super into funerals. I start showing it's very expensive me not doing anything because I keep like buying things to do nothing, right? Like to support me and my energy of doing nothing. So back to belief. I believe in myself. You know, I love that question, and I love the idea of proving versus belief. And I think I hate when you ask me questions that I need. Stop it. Don't make me reflect on what I need to hear. No. But that's really what it is, where it's like, okay, do I believe in myself, or am I trying to prove something to myself or other people? And, trying to prove yourself will get you pretty far. Oh, it will get you so far.
There's some drive behind it.
Yeah, there's energy, there's drive, there's some good anger, there's some I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of energy behind the first act of my life had a lot of proving. behind it.
Yeah.
Take me seriously. Don't take me too seriously. I'm really fun. I'm not just a girl who pops out of cakes. I also have a business school, right? I'm not just a business school. I'm a fun girl, right?
All the things. Yeah.
All the things. And I do think that there's, you know, it's really easy to believe that you believe in yourself, but I think like the first thing to do is to just get really honest with yourself. Like, what do you feel like you need to prove? And noticing where the energy is coming from. And it has been a really curious experiment to not have my energy coming from a place of needing to prove or achieve. And I'm going to tell you, it's like not quite as, because when you're trying to prove, it's very public by nature. And when you're not trying to prove something, you just believe it.
It's private.
It's more private. And so part of the trying to prove was very public and very vocal and very loud, and it draws people in because they believe in you. It's like a hero's journey. It's a story. And so just the nature of me trying to prove made me performative or more public.
Outwardly,
because I want
box in the checklist.
Yeah, but also I need to tell you. I need to prove myself to you, so I have to talk to you.
Yeah.
If I'm just sitting at home and I don't have to prove anything to you, I don't need to show up. So it has been difficult and an interesting experiment to notice how do you accomplish and achieve from a place of intention, like let's say joy, enthusiasm, versus proving and like compulsive behavior to work and achieve. And it's, it's kind of crazy. It's really crazy. And I think it goes back to the title, You're Already Awesome. We are in so much the habit of compulsively proving and earning that when you tell someone they don't have to, they're like, well, then what would I even do? And it's almost insulting to tell someone they don't need to earn or prove anything when they are spending every waking minute, whether they're conscious of it or not, in that space. It's almost threatening to their way of life.
She's talking to me.
I don't mean to be.
I love that. And a little bit about Jen too is she teaches, and her background and her book is on identity. And so often isn't this the way that it goes when you connect, especially with other women? Like you're like, oh, I needed to hear that. This is like what I needed today. But truly, like where is that intention coming from versus your drive? I mean, because you're very extroverted, bubbly, you have an amazing message to share, but then how do you define, is this for everybody else or is this my belief within me? And that's the driving force. Two very different things.
And there's permission.
And permission.
When you're doing it to serve people, especially if you're a cute woman like us.
Yes.
Because we're allowed to be aggressive and want things in the service of other people, for the good of other people, for the betterment of the planet. I don't just get to say, I want 1 million podcast followers because I want people to listen to me. That makes me a narcissist. That makes me big ego, maniacal overlord, like all the things.
Yeah.
But if I want 1 million people to feel empowered and love themselves and believe they're already as awesome as they can be, well, I'm an altruistic saint.
Yeah.
Now, they can both be coming from the same place, though, right? And you can trick yourself. So I'm not like really trying to be negative. I'm just more saying like, it is pretty mind-blowing when you truly give yourself permission to believe you're good. Like, you're good. Like, lose 10 pounds, you're good. Gain 40 pounds, you're good. Lose your house, lose your husband, lose your money, lose a child, lose your family, you're good. It's not going to feel good.
Yeah.
But you inherently and wholly are good.
Yeah.
You're good. Like, and I believe that. Like, so when you talk about belief, I think one thing that has worked for me is I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe it. I know it. I believe it. I feel it for you. I feel it for me. I know it. Now, I think a big part of my journey was knowing it for myself as much as I knew it for other people and really believing it without having to earn and prove. And now when I show up with that belief, rather than trying to prove to you, where I will say I can see the biggest difference is in my interpersonal relationships and my one-on-one conversations where people like talking to me more.
Yeah.
Like friends and family, if they have a problem, they're much more likely to come to me with it now than maybe when I looked on top of my game and I'm speaking to 10,000 people and everybody loves me on the Instagram, right?
I love that. I think what you're speaking to is being your true authentic self.
Yeah.
Like what is that internal innate motivator that gets you and that belief? Beautiful question, Jen.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, Jen was like you. I was in my car having this conversation.
It's so much of it ingrained though in part of you and your word and your message and finding identity, not losing that identity in motherhood, right? Because truly as women too, we play so many different roles and it's like, often you can lose yourself in the things, in the death, in the marriage,
in the relationship, which is a big one.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, you're already as awesome as you need to be. My podcast, Awesome with Allison, when I say like only you can be you, I am very much in the brand school I would teach. We do human needs psychology. One of my core motivators, values is identity. I'm very driven by it, by myself. I mean, it's the Alison Show. Hi. But also notice how I said my goal. I'm like, my new identity for 2025 is I get 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
And I have noticed it has helped me with that goal, that intention, by making it part of my identity, because if it's not part of my identity, I don't care.
Yeah. And it's just a thing.
But there are other people who it would be much more beneficial for them, because maybe a core human values connection, that the 10,000 steps is something they do with other people.
Got it.
Right? So that would be like, that's going to work for some people. I bet it would work for Jen, because Jen wrote a book about identity. She's giving out what she needs. Right?
Yes.
And so making something like that part of your identity is going to help you do it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, dang it. You really are helping me right now.
This is so good.
This is terrible. Thank you for this. Oh my gosh. Yes, I know.
Like, it's so awesome.
The teacher learns the most, right?
Always. Yes.
Completely. I wanted to switch gears as we were talking a little bit before this in the podcast on some questions that we wanted to ask you.
I don't know. After hearing my answers, we're like, maybe we shouldn't ask for things anymore.
Not sure. But I thought this was kind of a fun one. So if you had to create a super fun 3-step awesome plan for someone feeling stuck today, what would be the easiest, quickest way to feel more awesome, like as in right now?
Okay, I love this question. Thank you so much. I actually know step number 1 immediately, and it's let's get petty.
Oh
my gosh, we are so, especially if you're asking that question.
Yes.
If you are listening to this podcast.
Yes.
I know you, sister. I know you. I got your number. And you don't let yourself feel the hard, negative things. Because if you're mad at someone, they hurt your feelings.
Yes.
Well, you're a responsible, emotionally intelligent person. You're going to take hyper accountability. And here, I know where they're coming from. And I know what their dad was like. And I know they probably said that because they really mean this. Well, guess what? Whatever they said freaking hurt your feelings.
Yes.
So let's just get petty for just a quick sec.
Okay.
They hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Screw her. I hope she trips on a rock and gets a scar on her nose. I do. I really do. Yeah, screw her. I got my period today. Yeah. I want bad things for her. Oh, I do. I want those bad things. You get petty. I would never let myself say or think something like that. Almost with like a superstitious, like, God will smite me. And it's really easy in the self-development world to get there, where we don't just like notice our feelings, we micromanage our feelings. And I very much felt this way about anger, where I'm like, well, it's like pedestrian. It's like beneath me to be angry. Like, I'm way too advanced a human. Why would you get angry, right? But really, that's just a control thing. And if I give you the control to hurt my feelings, then I'm giving you control, right? But I still am hurt.
Yeah.
So if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling not awesome, it's not becoming a victim. It's not blaming things on other people. My step number 1 is, what's the feeling you're not letting yourself feel? Because anxiety, depression, constant action, or numbing, all of those are to cover an emotion that it feels unsafe for you to feel. So I would also like to validate the reason you don't feel angry or you want to get petty is because somewhere along the line, somebody told you that that is a very bad, horrible, not safe thing to do.
Yeah.
So in my coaching, I would say like at least once an hour with everyone, I'm like, no, let's get petty. Ew, I hate that. Ew, they're the worst, right? Just just get it out, like let yourself, like write it down and burn it.
Yeah.
But like we are in such a crazy place of either censoring ourselves or ripping at people anew under the guise of like a moral superiority. Like I'm allowed to be mean to people if I'm morally superior to them. No, don't be mean.
Yeah.
Be mean in your head.
Yeah.
It's safe to be mean in your head. Right? Or maybe tell your 14-year-old all the things you want to say to your neighbor before you say that. Okay? I know. My mom said. And so
That's not what I heard.
and step number 1, I love calling it be petty. But what I really mean by that is like you get to be yourself, because essentially what you're doing is you're gaslighting yourself. I don't feel mad. I'm not angry. I'm not hurt. I'm not sad.
So step into the feeling and feel the feeling.
Yeah. And then I think, let's see, okay, I like this. Step number 1. Okay, we can make like an acronym. Like petty, okay, that's a P. And then step number 2, I think maybe like tune into your values.
Yeah.
Because once you get petty, then we want to come in and like soothe that. Where it's like, okay, that person hurt my feelings. They didn't give me the benefit of the doubt. They didn't trust me. They didn't ask me before jumping to that conclusion. This may or may not be a real example from my life this week. And it's like pretty offensive that I've known them for that long and they just jumped to that conclusion without giving me the benefit of the doubt. That hurt my feelings, right?
Feelings are so awesome.
So if I was going to move into step 2, then I would go, okay, like what are my values? And I'm like, well, I value letting everyone be themselves. I might even go, wow, that hurt my feelings. Like, that was maybe like a 2, and it hurt my feelings like a 15. So then I might get like really curious, right? Like curious about like, why am I valuing that so intensely? Right? And so why am I valuing not getting angry? Like, why am I valuing not letting anything affect me? Because then I might ask myself, do I really believe that good people don't let anything affect them?
Yeah.
I mean, like the Zen men of meditation would have you believing. Like, God bless you, Eckhart Tolle, but he would have you believing. God bless you, Michael Singer, but he would have you believing that you having no feelings and emotions is correct, aka masculine. Like,
Also interesting. We're human. I'm pretty sure we're built.
Right? So then I might go, okay, like I actually value a range of human emotions.
Sure.
So it helps.
Beauty of who we are.
So it helps me tie back. So it'd be I get petty, and then I check in with my values, and then probably the third step would be, what would be? It would probably be like physiology, which would be move something, move a piece of furniture, move your body, go for a walk, move your mind, because it is scientifically the fastest way to change your mental and emotional state. So that would be like a science research based thing where it's like, okay, now we're gonna move.
Yeah.
We're gonna move something. We're
Move
gonna
and
change
walk
it.
it in.
Yeah, yeah, to move.
That energy.
And then the great thing is like just because I move, and this is what I used to do, I might move, and then I'm like, oh, I got mad. I felt sad, I journaled it. I burned it. Had a little bonfire, right? But then I'm still mad. And I'm like, no, you're not still mad. We worked through this.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, and then you repeat the cycle. And
that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Maybe it'll help.
I know, I totally agree.
But challenge accepted.
No, I love it. Yes, thank you, Barney. No, I think that's beautiful because it's really tangible things that people can do right now. Right now. So thank you. That was so beautiful. I'm gonna practice some of those.
Good. You know what? Next, I'm gonna do it too. I love it. Yeah, I'm just
and we'll connect it. Wow.
Yes,
Work for me.
We're accountable.
Completely. Speaking of wow. Yes, again, we talked that you are going to be our keynote speaker, so thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
What can we anticipate? What can we expect?
Oh, you can anticipate anything could
More
happen.
of this.
Yeah, anything could happen. Oh gosh, how do I keep it appropriate? Okay.
Or what can we do to help prepare? Like, you know, there's something that we can do with our community.
Here's what I would love to ask you guys is, like, what do you feel like, because you're talking to people.
Yeah.
You had an event last night.
Completely.
People probably asked questions and people opened and shared. What's your vibe? Like, what do you think people need right now? Like, where do you think people are at? Like, are there any questions or themes you guys are noticing?
This is a fun question because Mary had us do the same thing. She said, I want to kind of get a feel for your audience, so let's ask everybody what they want to gain from this night. And so we went around, we asked the women, we had these answers, and we came to Mary and she's like, oh no, I got it. I got a temperature of the room and everything. And so now I guess this is our opportunity to share that we had some things that the women were asking for. So I had some that wanted inspiration. One woman, she was saying she just had a blank slate. She wasn't sure what to expect. She was just ready. A lot of people wanted connection and relationships. And
I'm going to step out of frame. Sorry to interrupt just for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. And really just prioritizing that wellness and how we can really tune into that. Because, women optimizing wellness, what does that look like? How do we really put ourselves first and take care of that?
I love that.
We're doing this live. I love
that
answer. So we had some soft launch. So kudos and ditto to everything that you just said. A lot of the women really wanted connection, relationships with each other, to be in a safe space and to hold space for each other and all of their differences. But
that's beautiful.
What I was getting at is we had some soft launches before our hard launch in January, and we had the women, our monthly theme this month was I Desire. So I'm just going to throw this out here right now.
Yes.
So it was, what do these women desire in the next week, the next month, and the next year? And as I was preparing for our event, I was reading these, and forgive me now if I get emotional.
Never apologize for your emotions.
So true.
Didn't we learn? You don't apologize.
No, as soon as I said it, I was like, I'm not sorry. I will get emotional. Yeah, that's okay. But I just wanted to share some of these because I think they're so beautiful, right from our community. Personal meditation, education completion. I desire to get a strong body this year. Comfort and peace, learning the process of growth, connecting with others, to slow down and think things through before I commit.
Ooh.
That just gave me the goosebumps.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't write it, but I could have. Growing my business, love, joy, happiness, success, having gratitude and letting go of negativity. I know we've got a couple of women in the group that talk about finding more time for my family. Others are going right in the thick of divorce. So there's some hard out there. But I think really, truly, as you're looking through this, I would love to grow the family business, garden, homemaking skills, work through childhood trauma. So there is some powerful stuff in that room and emotion, but I think a lot of it goes back to friendships, connecting, feeling confident, feeling worthy. Yeah. Super powerful stuff. So we're excited to hear.
That's beautiful.
There you go. There's some feedback.
I really do, because like I said, book was the dream. The book was the dream.
Yeah.
And then I did the dream. And I got real sick. And I was like, I think it could be done. Yeah, I'm done. I did it.
Wow.
I did all the things.
Check box.
Yeah. Turns out, like, you turn 40 and you still have, like, all these years left. Oh my gosh, what are you supposed to do? I'm like, you know, Hamilton, like, why are you right? Like, you're running out of time. And I was like, yeah, because we're running out of time. And that's like how I lived my whole life.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, there's still all this time. Like, and now what? And it's a really interesting place to be in. And when it comes down to it, what I feel very passionate about is connection. And I think the reason so many people are craving that is also the other half of those is you never feel more alone than when you're going through a hard time.
Yeah.
Even with the people in your life, because I went through a really hard time, and all of the people who show up at the parties and the work events, they aren't quite sure how to show up when you're sick.
Yeah.
They're not quite sure how to be your friend when you're not the one
100%.
helping
Yeah.
them. You know, and these and that's not just an Allison problem, that's a person problem, right? Where it's a lot easier to show up for people when you feel okay, and it's really hard to allow people to show up for you when you don't feel okay. And when you don't feel okay, you feel alone and you don't feel like yourself, and then you don't want the people who know you as that other version of yourself, or they're not comfortable with you in that version. And I think that it is so beautiful that we can come together and meet new people in that space, right? And so that's what I've really noticed is there's definitely been a shift in the people that I'm attracting and the people who show up at the things I do. And it's a real genuine connection where people, and it's not like the other type of connection is bad, but it's more, honestly, it's more popularity and hype. There's going to the Taylor Swift concert because you're a diehard Taylor Swift fan, and there's going to Taylor Swift because it's the thing to do and it's a fun thing to do.
We're haters.
And she did a great job at making the fun, popular thing to do. The celebrities went there, all the people went there. We're in a financial crisis. You know, most people put it on their credit card, but that's okay. Like, how is everybody affording to go to Europe for Taylor Swift? I'm so confused. and so part of it is, but you know, you can go to that huge, hype, popular concert and still feel dead alone.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people are craving is a smaller community where they can go and be the aspects of themselves that they haven't really been able to show up with other places and not feel so alone.
Yeah. And that has been a concern with some of the women. They said, how big is this going to get? Because they want that intimate connection.
Yeah, and there's a place for all of it.
Yeah.
Because we do need fun diversion.
Oh,
we
yeah,
do need superficial.
Yeah.
We need it, man.
Just to show up, go have a good fun night out.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a deep dive because
Yeah.
when people are hurting like that, I mean, I've been through a really hard divorce. We've all been through hard. It's called life. It's called the journey, right? The heavy, ugly, horrible things and beautiful things that life is and has been. But I love that it's through the process, right? That we make those connections, and not everything has to be a deep dive. It's fun to get out and do.
Yeah.
Go hang!
But it's
this.
interesting because I coach and talk to a lot of people who host events, and a lot of people who host these smaller events are having the problem. They're like, people say they're going to come, or even somebody inviting people over on the weekend, everybody cancels.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to leave our houses. But we're all craving connection.
Right. It seemed like a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have any pointers on that, Allison, you tell us.
The pointer is me working on not being a judgmental jerk and just wanting to walk up to people and be like, You're sad? Get up out of your house. You did this to yourself. Right? Like, I'm just working on my compassion over here. Like,
no, but it is, when you were speaking actually to that earlier, I was thinking about going through one of the hardest seasons in my life, and truly, I think for me, I pushed people away.
I do
because
too.
I didn't want people to see me break, because
Yeah.
it's all about the persona, and Bex has got her life together, and this and that, and all of these things that we put on ourselves, these labels that we put on ourselves, and I'm like, I don't really want people to see me in this capacity.
Yeah.
And so I kind of pushed away, and it's hard to accept help. I'm somebody, it's hard for me to accept help.
But you're the
I'm
first
getting
person
better.
to show up when their help is
I'm the first person to show up. Okay, girl,
I know that about you. I got your number.
You know me. But it's hard. So to your point
Yeah.
of getting there, just come. If you're listening to this right now, come. This community is for you.
I think it's come messy.
Come messy.
Come in your jammies.
Totally.
Come as your petty,
Come as you
ugly
are.
version of yourself that to you seems petty and ugly, because I promise you it's not.
Yeah.
Right? Like, every version of you is needed. And sometimes people need to sit down and hold your hand and look into your eyes for an hour. And that's usually where I take it. And sometimes that's not what people want. And then I can feel sad that they didn't want that gift I had to give. But I've also got to remember, like, they didn't need it.
Yeah.
I can't give people a gift they don't want or need.
And it'd be timing.
Yeah, that's timing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they just need to not be in their head and in their feelings and just be with people and take a break from feeling so much.
Yeah.
And it's not on me to decide what they need, unless of course they're asking me to help them determine. And even then, I think I'm just so much more, I don't know, I'm just at a place where I'm so much more like, yeah, I could be super wrong. I'm gonna throw this out, and you tell me if you like it, and if you don't, hate me for it later. I had this guy, it was not a good fit, and he hired me it just was a weird circumstance, and he hired me for all these sessions of coaching, and he read my book, he just found me through that, and by about our 4th or 5th session, he is like, I'm feeling really mad.
Awesome.
And I was like, totally. Are you feeling that anger towards me, the situation, or what we're talking about? And he's like, I think I might be mad at you. In the past, I would not have been able to handle that. I would not have been able to receive that. I wouldn't have been okay with it. I wouldn't have been able to sleep at night. I would have needed to make sure he was happy with me.
Wow.
And now, I'm like, I talked to him for about 4 or 5 hours. I'm not too worried about it. I'm no longer the correct solution for him.
Yes.
He definitely should talk to someone else.
Yes.
And I know I made him mad because I asked him to think about something that is very harmful in his personality. Of course he's not gonna like me.
Yeah.
People don't like when you hold up
look
a
in the
mirror.
mirror.
People don't like when you hold up a mirror.
When you're not ready.
And even if you're paying someone and asking
Yeah.
them for it, they hold that mirror up and you're like,
Yikes.
double birds. Like, I don't want that from you, right? And I've been mad at therapists and coaches.
Oh,
and,
completely.
just being able to like,
Find the right fit too.
yeah, and like sit with that and know and I told him, I'm like, hey, I want to thank you again for sharing everything you've shared. This is super vulnerable. I might not be the person, and you're going to know what's best for you. And we didn't have another session after that. Our sessions were done. Is it because I made him mad? Is it because we were done? It honestly just doesn't matter.
It's okay.
It's all okay, but like I used to not be able to live with that. So back to validation, because I would have said that I'm doing a good job if he thinks I've done a good job.
I see. That external
validation, where now the validation comes from checking with myself. Was there something that I could have said or done differently? Could I have been more compassionate? Did I overstep? Was I right? Like, and looking back at my actions, I feel very comfortable and secure in what they were.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I would you know, make amends, you repair, apologize, whatever needs to happen. And so when it comes back to that internal validation, it really does require you to, on a regular basis, check in with yourself with your values and what your motivation is, right? Whereas like my motivation, if somebody hires me and wants help from me, my motivation is to serve them in a way that will serve them.
Yeah.
Not to help them in the way I think they should be helped.
Right.
Now, that's not always gonna be what the other person wants, right?
Yeah.
And that's it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. I want everybody to love me.
Especially when you are in that position. We all do. We all want love. We all want acceptance, and but truly understanding it's not about you. It's about them.
I know, but it's so hard because it's like all about me.
So much. I wanted to ask you kind of a fun other little question too, to switch gears just a little bit. You've worked with a lot of businesses, a lot of companies, big brands like Microsoft, Alaska Airlines. If you could collaborate with anyone, if you could collaborate with anyone next, even Beyonce, Oprah, and should I say living or dead? I'm just gonna make this harder. Let's say living. Who would it be, and what kind of magic would you create? You're such a fun personality. I had to ask.
Oh my gosh, wait, but like I don't even
collaborate with. I know.
Because there's like people I want to collaborate with, and I'm not. I went to like Wayne's World, like I'm not worthy.
Or there's just like too many if it's too hard.
No, I'll just tell you this.
Yeah.
Like, who do I want to be obsessed with me? Again, let's like circle back to like values, Allison. Toxic much. Like that's not gonna help me. Like wanting people to be obsessed. That's really bring like. Who do I want to be my biggest fan? Oh, that's it. I'm like, who would I like to be in love with me? That's not what she asked. That's not what she asked. But do you know?
Or who do you admire? Like
I'm obsessed with RuPaul.
Okay.
I love RuPaul.
Fabulous.
I love RuPaul because RuPaul has made a career, the drag queen, has made a career using their skills and platform to give other people a platform.
Yeah.
And so when I think of like career role models, which I never used to have one because I was like, I'm so special. I don't need a role model.
Yeah.
And then I heard RuPaul say one time, you got to have somebody to model your career after, maybe in a different like industry. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to reinvent everything.
Yeah.
And RuPaul happens to be one of those people where, I mean, I would just absolutely love, you know, I dream of being a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. I do.
Awesome.
I dream of it. And my dream is I would never criticize a single queen. I would only tell them how proud of them I am and how great they are. And so I have that dream. But my dream is to be on RuPaul's show just telling everyone how much I love them.
We'll just tag RuPaul.
Thank you, Ru.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Because they have such a beautiful message to share as well. I mean, every time I listen to that show, I'm like, did that just come out of your? I want to speak like you one day. Like you speak so eloquently.
And that's why I really love RuPaul. I mean, I could wax philosophical on this, but one thing I love about the show, which I've watched for years and years and years, is RuPaul chooses the winner every week. He chooses who goes home and stays. And I love that because that's a lot of ownership. Because lots of shows, they're like, I'm not going to put myself in a position to not be liked. I'm not going to put myself in a position to be the bad guy. And I love Ru because at the end of the day, and people are mad all the time. People are always mad at RuPaul. They're always mad at the show. They did this wrong. They did that wrong. And I just love the ownership. I love the ownership. I love the using your skills to give other people a platform. And I think that's something I think that's like a talent I have, is seeing people's talents. And I can be very aggressive about wanting people to see their potential and talent.
Yeah,
so I had to learn. And I had to learn to be kind about that.
Well, we are so excited to have you as the keynote, and we loved having this conversation with you.
Thank you. This was so fun. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for giving me the conversation I needed. I know. Jen, can we just stay for a minute? I have a few more questions.
We could do this for another honestly.
Yeah, I know. I love that we connected over identity and all of that.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for doing this work. It's really hard to do things.
Yeah.
So good job doing them.
Thank you. Especially, truly as we are still learning too. And so for me, it's incredibly hard. I think you hit the nail on the head, is we're all learning, and it's incredibly hard for me to stand up there because, please, I don't have it figured out. We're again, going through the journey.
And how long were you an ER nurse?
In healthcare for 20 years, a nurse for 15.
Okay, so it's the hardest thing, I think. And you don't realize it till you start to get older, is continuing to allow yourself to be the beginner.
Yes.
And your ego, it wants to tell you, you don't get to show up and be new at this. You're at the top of your industry. 20 years, you're respected. Everybody sees you in this way. And you're like, I'm going to show up like an idiot.
Lifelong learning, right?
Lifelong learner. That really is true.
And it's hard sometimes to step back and go, oh yeah, let me just listen. I'm not going to show you how to do that. Let's allow others, because that helps them learn and grow too. And yeah. But anyway, we're all in this journey together.
Oh yeah,
it's so beautiful.
We're all here. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you guys.
We'll see you and later this month.
Man, what an incredible interview with Alison Faulkner, host of the Alison Show. Go check that thing out and follow Women Optimizing Wellness wherever they are. YouTube, Instagram, all them places. Go search for them, and we will see you guys right here next week.